with a skill in leadership, a skill in gender studies, public policy, business strategy, data analysis, quantitative, international trade. You're supposed to be giving a round of applause as I mentioned this. Non-profit organizations, international trade relations, policy. I introduce to you Natasha Anieko, the United Nations of International Trade Center. She is the technical advisor at ICT. As I welcome on stage, please a round of applause for Natasha Anieko.
Thank you very much. Representatives from the Nigerian government, all members of the international community present here today, captains of industry, ladies and gentlemen, good morning or good afternoon. My name is Natasha Anieko. I am the National Coordinator for Nigeria at the International Trade Center, ITC. It's a pleasure to be in your midst today. Please allow me to start by thanking our partners, the African Union Commission and Impact for this invitation and platform to discuss ICC's work on sustainability. ICC is a joint technical agency of the United Nations and the World Trade Organization responsible for promoting trade in developing countries and countries around the world. Established in 1964, ICC is headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, and provides technical support through its numerous programs across the globe, but with a keen focus on emerging communities, on emerging economies, and transition economies, particularly in developing parts of the world. In Africa, we are resident in a number of countries and are currently implementing in West Africa a number of ECOWAS-focused programs, as well as Nigeria-focused programs as well. And we do this through our Nigeria Coordination Office that is currently domiciled at the ECOWAS Commission. And all ITC's interventions are focused on developing new or reinforcing already existing initiatives that target boosting the economic resilience of countries through trade, and we ensure that all our initiatives are designed to strengthen the business environment, to boost export competitiveness, and most importantly, to empower the private sector, particularly women and youth. Through our flagship project on women trades, we have been working with women business associations across the African continent. The network was launched to, and this is She Trades, the network was launched to support women operating in the private sector, but also, more importantly, to harness AFCFTA policy framework and opportunities that this provides. As part of the project's activities, ITC has facilitated the convening of over 150 Africa Women Business Associations across Africa in the creation of a continental network. The development was based on a decision from the Continental Meeting of Women Business Associations in Addis Ababa in 2019, organized by ITC, the African Union Commission, and the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA. The outcome of this project includes a strategy document, draft articles of association, and draft bylaws for this continental network for women business associations. The network is not yet operational or was launched in November 2023, and I believe we'll be having their first annual general meeting sometime this month. In addition, ITC offers several tools to support sustainability, and I will run through just a few of them. The ITC Standards Map is one of them, and it is the world's largest sustainability standards database. It's a comprehensive, free online tool designed for entrepreneurs and businesses. Its features allow businesses to, number one, identify standards, and this is essentially to access an extensive range of sustainability standards relevant to your industry or relevant to your region. It also allows you to compare standards, so to evaluate and to contrast different sustainability frameworks to determine the best fit for you or for your business. It monitors trends, so it allows you to stay updated on latest developments and trends in sustainability practices, and it includes a self-assessment tool. And this helps you to evaluate your business's compliance with key sustainability benchmarks, to access your readiness for adopting sustainability practices and aligning with global standards. Another tool is the ITC Sustainability Map. And this is another free online gateway that enables businesses to promote their sustainability practices, to gain visibility in the international supply chain, and to connect to international buyers. Companies can easily create and manage profiles and start to immediately market their business. This sustainability map empowers MSMEs committed to sustainable production and processing to increase their business potential by gaining visibility toward potential buyers looking for sustainable products, creating online products or profiles to market their business globally, and easily verifying the validity of their certifications. Our sustainability map also supports international brands in sustainable sourcing and verifying the validity of their partners' certification claims. Please allow me a few more minutes to also run through some of our partnerships in support of women-led businesses. Through our MOU, ITC has adopted a close partnership with the AFCFTA Secretariat. And this is to ensure that the AFCFTA implementation works for the private sector and for women businesses or women-led businesses in particular. This partnership specifically targets micro, small, and medium enterprises, women, and youth entrepreneurs. The intentional empowerment and inclusion of women and youth entrepreneurs and women and youth-led businesses in the AFCFTA commercial trade-related initiatives is critical to maximizing the full potential of the AFCFTA as well as shaping the frameworks at that continental, regional, and even national level. In addition, ITC supports the AFCFTA implementation through different interventions, including sensitization sessions, training on the AFCFTA public policy dialogues, in order to sensitize women and youth in the context of the Women and Youth Protocol of the AFCFTA. In addition, ITC is also in cooperation with the U.S. Commercial Law Development Program, and we thank and appreciate the ITC cooperation with the program through our contribution as a member of the African Women and Youth Empowerment Group, AWYEC, where we have organized a series of joint workshops and master classes on the AFCFTA for women and youth entrepreneurs, including in Nigeria, in Kenya, and South Africa as well. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, we value our partnership with the AUC, with Impact Hub, and ITC remains committed to promoting private sector development in Nigeria, in Africa, through the OTA initiative. This is the World Trade Africa initiative, an umbrella program at ITC that is targeted at supporting SMEs to benefit from the regional integration, but also through targeted projects that train SMEs, especially women, to take advantage of the AFCFTA. In conclusion, ITC looks forward to strengthening cooperation and to continue dialogue with our esteemed partners in support of the private sector. Ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to a lively discussion on this topic later today, and I wish you all a very fruitful time with us.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, a round of applause for the wonderful. You can obviously see the power of collaboration. We cannot do this alone, and we have to work with other organizations just to ensure that the chapel goes forward and ensure that we have a continent that is sustainable, one that will leave no one behind. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I would like to ask a question. When we say green economy, what do we mean? When we say green businesses, what do we mean? Ladies and gentlemen, is that time when we have intriguing, very important conversation. And at this point, it's time for a fireside chat. Climate change and Africa's sustainable future, empowering women entrepreneurs. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take the topic again. Climate change and Africa's sustainable future, empowering women entrepreneurs. Ladies and gentlemen, we've brought together individuals that have made impact with wealth of experience, and they will be talking to us today. Ladies and gentlemen, to moderate this session, no other person but my co-host, Nneka Okali. Please a round of applause as she comes to the stage. Thank you.
It's time for the panel discussion. Climate change and Africa's sustainable future, empowering women entrepreneurs. To unpack this, we have distinguished panel of experts, activists and entrepreneurs that are deeply involved. So let's start with an opening question before I welcome them on stage. How do climate change and the rise of women entrepreneurs in Africa intersect the pursuit of sustainability? A round of applause as I welcome on stage Michael Terungwa David. He is the Executive Director of the Global Initiative for Food and Security Ecosystem Preservation. A round of applause as he comes on stage, please. Moving on, I have our very own symbiote, Adije. She is the founder of Consensual Health. A round of applause as she comes on stage.
You're very much welcome. Thank you very much. So before we commence with the individual question, I would like to start with a general question. So, as Africa industrializes, can entrepreneurs drive growth while staying green? And before you answer this, please, we all have tags, and in order for you to follow the agenda, you can scan the QR code at the back of the tag. The back of your tag, there's a QR code there that you can scan so you can know the agenda. Thank you very much. So, as Africa industrializes, can entrepreneurs drive growth while staying green? We'll start with you, Mr. Michael.
Yes. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. When I walked into the hall, I was shocked. I had to step back if I was at the right place. But when I saw the impact, her logos everywhere, and I saw my mothers and sisters and everyone with the energy, I was like, yes, I'm at the right place. And indeed, yes to your question, industrialization in Africa at this stage must be green, should go green. It provides even a better opportunity for our communities, for our women, and for everyone. So it's a yes.
Thank you very much. Cynthia, please.
Yeah, thank you. I'll just introduce myself again real quick. My name is Dr. Simbiat Adigije. I am born Nigerian, 100% Nigerian, happy to be Nigerian, but I'm also American. And so your question was, would the African industry go green, right? So I'm going to make a real life example. Change is coming, regardless of whether we want it or not. It's just inevitable. One of the things that drove, at least my business, where, by the way, I am a psychiatrist in America. We're in 16 countries in Africa. We just opened Nigeria, yay, and 33 states in the United States. And so one of the things that drove us to go green at our company was the pandemic. It gave the opportunity to open up job opportunities in Nigeria for staff members to work remotely. So if you're thinking how does working remotely basically contribute to like green solutions, we're reducing carbon footprints, right? So yes, we have to go green. Africa is the way forward. I keep saying that. We might be late, but we are the way forward. So eventually, I feel like we're going to go green.
Thank you very much. So, we know that you are a mindset coach, of course. Please tell us, when working with entrepreneurs for new green solution, what mindset shifts have you found most crucial for their success?
Sure, thank you. So the mind is a very powerful thing. Very, very, very powerful. Our thoughts become our feelings, and our feelings become our action. I think it, I feel it, I do it. So the first thing I usually would tell people is accept the fact that change is always going to happen. As an entrepreneur, or as a human being in general, when something changes, it's natural. Biologically, the brain releases, neurotransmitters that wants to kick in a fight or flight response, and we're scared. The first thing, like I said, if we understand that change is always going to happen, we recognize the opportunities that change brings. So when something changes, instead of thinking, oh my God, what do I do? Which is fine for the first few seconds, I think, oh my God, what do I do? This is an opportunity for me to grow. This is an opportunity for me to network. This is an opportunity sometimes for me to fail, and it's okay to fail. I feel like that's one thing as entrepreneurs, we're very afraid of failing. If you don't fail, you're not going to propel to the next level. If everything keeps working the way you planned for it, you're not going to propel. So just to cut the long story short, being adaptable to change, I think is very, 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 very essential for the mindset. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Michael, this is for you. Africa is projected to experience a temperature increase of about 4 degrees by the end of the century, with significant impacts on agriculture, water availability, and food scarcity. Tell us, how do you see these changes affecting the livelihoods of women entrepreneurs, and what are the immediate steps that needs to be taken
to give these women the needed support?
Yes, indeed. Climate change impacts everyone, but women and children are very vulnerable. Not just in Nigeria, all over Africa, and in other developing parts of the world. Now, I always like to look at the solutions. And I hate the blame game when I talk about climate change. We know we just returned from the COP, and we know the conversation about the climate finance, how disappointing it was and all. But for that local woman who has a small poultry farm, and there was flooding, or there's flooding, and the poultry farm is destroyed, or her farm is washed away, what do you do? And so, resilience building must begin. And the right place to start is at the community level, and then we grow to the national level. And when I say resilience building, what am I referring to? We need to empower our women. First, to understand that something is happening. There is change within the environment. That climate change itself is real, because we still have people who deny it. And that they must take steps to changing the way they do things. So first, our disaster response mechanisms must improve. So I gave the example of a woman whose poultry farm and all her chickens were washed away. Now, the first thing you need to do to such an individual is to quickly give her money to start up again. Unfortunately, most of our small-scale businesses, our women do not have any form of insurance. So when there is loss, everything is lost, and that cycle of poverty and everything, starts and continues again. So what we really need to do is to provide that support. But before the support, there must be that capacity building, that awareness creation, that the environment is changing. So the business that you are into must take steps to adapt to the changing climate. If you are a farmer, you should know that you shouldn't go farming on the floodplain, because the floods will come and destroy everything.
Thank you very much. So how about we expand this? How can we scale climate-smart agricultural practices? Because you spoke about the woman who raised livestock, chickens. So how can we scale climate-smart agricultural practices among women entrepreneurs to improve resilience and ensure sustainability in their business growth in the face of climate change?
Yes, so my organization works on issues around food security. And this is one of the challenges we face all the time, working with communities. Food is very expensive at the moment. There's food inflation in the country. Now, Nigeria as a country, and many other African countries here, still largely depend on rain-fed agriculture. Now, with the changing climate, you know that you cannot depend on rainfall anymore. Yes, you still practice some form of farming activities during the rainy season, but you must complement or supplement with irrigation. So that is the way that we need to go. We must practice irrigation, and smart irrigation for that matter, so that we are able to grow food all year round. I mean, with irrigation, you can grow food in 3 seasons instead of just growing it once a year, and for the remaining parts of the year, you are just idle. So for us to feed the nation and for us to be climate resilient, we need to adopt this. But not just that, we must support the smallholder farmers. And the smallholder farmers are women. And the fact is that the smallholder farmers are the ones that feed the nation. The big farmers will always produce for export, But the smallholder farmers, when you go around the communities, you see the tomatoes, you see all the fresh around the communities, all come from the smallholder farmer. So what we are doing as an organization at the moment is teaching farmers to use every space around them to grow food. Urban farming. You mustn't say, like the women in Karimajiji, I saw that video, and I was saying they can actually add, urban farming to what they are doing as well. And with urban farming, you have water around your home all the time, so you can grow vegetables, You can use sacks to grow food. You can use sacks to grow yam, within a very small space. I mean, a space as big as this hall, you can grow more than 5,000 tubers of yam here. And you can do that within your neighborhood. So that is what we need to do. But it is important to support farmers with the right input and the necessary resources to further build resilience.
Thank you very much. I'm sure a whole lot of us, we have questions, but we'll take questions from the audience. We'll take 3 questions from the audience after we're done with this session. So let's dive deeper. We have a question for you, of course. And this is about the mind, because I believe that the mind, when it comes to planning a business, execution, even thinking about the business that you want to go through, you have to sit, you have to plan it. You just don't dive into businesses like that. And most times, when people tend to have businesses, at some point, they don't know how to navigate their business. It tends to affect their mindset. So a question comes in. And that question says, we talk about eco-anxiety affecting young people. But how does this manifest differently for CEOs trying to build sustainable businesses?
Thank you. So I usually will coin a term called CEO anxiety. I think first I should define what anxiety is. Anxiety is excessive worry or increased sense of dread about the unknown, mostly. CEO anxiety is a different level of anxiety. Oftentimes you have to make big decisions, sometimes small decisions, but you have to make decisions. In this space now, you have to decide you're going green. And again, with that comes change. With that might come a lot of pushbacks. One of the ladies was asking, what do I do if the supermarket doesn't want digital invoice, right? So with the mind, what you need to understand is that the anxiety is going to come. The question is, how do I manage the anxiety? How do I keep it at bay so it doesn't prevent me from achieving my goals? One, I'll recognize the things I can control. A lot of things are out of our control, 99% of the time. Anxiety tells me if I do this, I'm going to control that. That's not true. We just do our best. So one, I recognize the things that I can control, and I recognize the things that I cannot control. If it's something within my control, I think, what are the top 3 things I can do to manage this? Remember, anxiety. Anxiety is going to make me think, okay, I want to keep it at bay. If it's something I cannot control, I simply let it go. That's it. If you don't remember anything from today, just remember, if it's something that I can control, top 3 things I can do to control it. If it's something I cannot control, I let it go. Thank you.
So is that a form of tool that can help manage that type of stress, letting go?
The power of letting go, oh yes. Yes, letting go. And it's not easy, because again, the mind is constantly running, constantly self-blaming, self-doubting, all kinds of thoughts, but power of letting go is one. And there are also, I don't want to bore us with tools like deep breathing, stress management, take care of yourself, all of those things can help as well. And if ever in doubt, you can see a therapist, which I know is not a big thing in Africa yet, but it should be, because 1 out of 4, if you ask me, I think more, but 1 out of 4 Nigerians suffers from mental illness. So yes, there are other tools that we can channel into, but I think everything should start within me, recognizing the things I can control and what I cannot control first.
All right, one last question, and we'll take 2 questions from the audience. Dr. Michael, collaboration is often cited as key to sustainable development. What strategies are in place to enhance collaboration between women entrepreneurs and other stakeholders in Africa to tackle climate change, ensuring that young women entrepreneurs to play active roles as climate agents?
So the issue of climate change is global. It's not an issue that one country alone can solve. It's not an issue that one individual can solve. So there must be collaboration. and learning from my mother, who was a community leader, and seeing all those groups, Meet Women Group, the CWO group, and all those groups, I know women are experts at collaborating, but they need to take this step further in the climate space. The lion, when it hunts alone, they are always 99% failure. But when they are together, they bring down the buffaloes. And that is what the women and the young entrepreneurs need to do. You need to form groups in the climate space. You need to form cooperatives. And with that, you are able to access finance. You are able to access, funding. But in most cases, you meet 5 persons, and when they introduce themselves to you, you are hearing 5 different organizations. Why can't you all come together and form a network that is strong enough, that can carry out initiatives and projects and tackle that very big challenge of funding, which is a very big issue for women groups, not just women groups, but all other groups. For you to do that successfully, you need to work together as groups in order to access the big funding, in quotes.
Thank you very much. Please, do we have any question from the audience? We'll take 2 questions, please.
Good morning. My name is Amina Bello, coming from Kano. Mr. Michael, please, my question is that, is there any room of assistance or some doors of opportunities open for this climate change issue, especially for people who are into home farming initiative? And thank you so much for hosting this event. I appreciate.
Hello.
Okay. Can we have the second question? Okay, let's take second question, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much for organizing this conference. My name is Mrs. Akonji, Justina Oluwayemisi. I know that the standing point of our discussion today is that every one of us should be able to leverage, connect to one another, and build up a strong networking. So with your assistance, we can build a very strong networking. So we'll be able to, we'll need your phone number, contact address, every other thing that we need to connect to people like you. Thank you very much.
I think we should answer the question. I think it's a
Okay. All right. Let me start with the question on finance. So, Madam, I will give you one. I don't want to call it expo, but for women groups, or if you have a non-profit or a group, a cooperative, you can approach the Jeff Small Grant Program, the Global Environment Facility Small Grant Program, especially if it's around environment. You can access as much as 50,000 USD. So, but you need to come up with a very good proposal in order to do that. And then for the women group, I think the right thing to do is for you to identify yourself in different clusters. What kind of business do you do? Are you into agriculture? So all of you in agriculture can come together. If you are into fashion designing and all, you come together. And I believe that the Impact Her organization will be able to help you and guide you to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much, Dr. Michael, and thank you very much, Ms. Simviat. We really do appreciate this. Dr. Simviat of Consensual Health, we really do appreciate this knowledgeable panel discussion we've just had. A round of applause, please, for them as they leave the stage.
Thank you for having us.